Hi everyone, and welcome to my craft room. I'm Shelly with J&S Hobbies and Crafts, and I have a fun holiday tutorial for you just in time for Christmas. We have the train set for 2016. What you see here, the engine and two cars, is from the DBS standard train kit. However, in the tutorial, I did the deluxe train, and the deluxe train comes with an engine and 4 cars. And what you can do with this is actually put this in front of your tree, and you can fill these little bags full of goodies, write names, peace, joy across. Anyway, it'd be fun to make this. Have your children or grandchildren get involved. Perhaps they want to fill the little bags for you. This is a fun, quick 30-minute tutorial, start to finish. I made these with the Graphic 45 St. Nicholas paper pad, and there are some options. You don't have to embellish it like I did. A lot of it is just from the paper itself inside the paper pad. Now another option, if you're not wanting the traditional colors that the St. Nicholas paper pad provides, Holly and Jessica down at the store, they made a couple trains, and I wanted to share them with you to show you an example using different paper and what you can get. This one was made with the Kaisercraft, and I have it right here, frosted. And this is more blues and whites, and it has vintage panels, card fronts for you to use in this one. And she did that just really cute. I love that, as you can see. And then there is Holly's, and she used the new Blue Fern Studios vintage Christmas paper collection. And this is just gorgeous. I love all the details on the card fronts. So let's take a look at what we'll be making today. So let's start with the main ingredient, the Designs by Shellie, or DBS, MDF train set. Now this is the deluxe train set, and that's the one I'm going to make in the tutorial here. You get an engine plus 4 cars, and this is a large train, so this will be quite large, or you have the other option of just going with the regular train set. You get the engine and the 2 cars. Now also what I did was I added my wooden wagon wheels to these. These, you don't have to have the wheels, but there are some engraving for where wheels can go. You don't have to have these. You can just use your paper for the wheel shape. And for those of you that want to do the wheels, now one thing you can do to cut down cost is just on one side, the front side of your train that you want to display, is put the wheels there. And then the back wouldn't have any. I'm going to go ahead and do wheels on both sides of my train, and I am going to be doing the deluxe train kit. Paper. I'm going to use the Graphic 45 St. Nicholas paper pad, and this is the 12 by 12 size, and it's just beautiful. Now Holly and Jessica, they used the other paper pads which you saw in the beginning of the tutorial. One was the Blue Fern Studios Vintage Christmas, and then Jessica used the Kaisercraft paper, which was really pretty with the blues. Another thing that I used in the tutorial is the Heartfelt Creation Sparkling Poinsettia Stamp and the matching die set to create my flowers. I am going to use Bling on a Roll for some trim fanciness on mine, and I'm using the single strand. Inks, if you are die cutting and making your own flowers, inks that I used were, there's a metallic color that I just brought into the store. It's Red Pearl. It's by Colorbox. And then also I have Scarlet. That's a non-metallic. For the leaves, I stamped the image in Mementos Olive Grove. And then I use the Colorbox chalk, and this is Olive Pastel. And then here is a metallic one, and it's called Willow. I did brush on Wink of Stella onto my flowers and the leaves, and all that is this. And what it does is it puts a shimmer on over the flower. And then I topped it off with Glossy Accents, which puts a gloss sheen on your flowers, and it also helps stiffen it. I did use a variety of the stickles. I have the green, silver, diamond, and then there's the Christmas red. Okay, gold stickles, I forgot, that was used. Now inside the train cars, I do have these little burlap bags, and there's like 3 per package. And I just for now stuffed mine with tissue, but M&Ms or something like that would be great. And then also, I don't sell this. I do sell this, but I found these down at the craft store, these little light bulbs these bulbs to hang off the tie off. Also, I did use these in the train decorating, and 12 of these come per package, and I do sell those. So you might, if you're gonna be shopping at my store, you might want to look around and see what there is. And then those of you that are not doing your own flowers, I got in a ton of new flowers, and I did get these Petaloo ones that were for Christmas, and there are several other Christmas ones you'll find. So anyway, this is a pull me apart, meaning that you can pull this apart and use a little of this and that, but this is a neat idea too for decorating. All I'm using to glue down the paper and to glue the train together is the art glitter Dries Clear adhesive glue, and then of course I have the metal tip, which I'm going to pop on the top there, and this is pretty much all it does. It just pops right on to the top, and it just helps control the flow because you don't need that much of this glue, and this glue is good for wood, metal, paper, plastics. I am going to use some 3D pop-up squares. For the inside of my wagon wheels, I will be placing flatback pearls. Well, that's completely optional for you. You can use buttons, anything you'd like. I'm also going to use some raffia and for decorating purposes, and I have some trim here. So this is something that if you bought a bunch of stuff maybe last Christmas, embellishments and whatnot, grab them and let's apply them to this project. Let's get started and open the package and organize our pieces. I've laid out all my pieces, but we're going to put these together as they should go. So 2 of the engines, and in your pack you will find a small piece that has DBS. That goes with this. And you will find that you have a bunch of these size. and you will grab 2 of these. Let's set this off to the side because we're going to start with this. So for the rest of these, grab 2 of your identical pieces, grab 1 of the larger pieces, and 2 walls. And I'm going to set this aside. Set that one aside. Set this one aside. And my last one. And this is a very quick, simple tutorial. In my paper pack, I'm going to remove these 2 sheets and I'm going to trim off this top part. I've got both my pieces down, and for the 2 wall pieces I have down here too. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace around my train with a pen. I don't like using pencil because the lead gets on the side, but you can use pencil. And I'm going to cut it out. Now for the wall pieces, which are here, I am going to trace around, but I am not going to cover my notches with paper. So when I do this, I can trace around and then I'll just cut it straight through here. The bottom piece I will not be covering with paper. So let's go ahead and do that. One thing before you start, Holly and Jessica, what they did was they actually painted the inside of their train, and so that when it is like so, it's white or it was silver here. I'm leaving mine natural. I wanted to do something a little different this year. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I have traced and cut all my pieces out. One thing you will want to remember to do is cut out for the window. Now, and also I cut straight across and left my bell, the natural colored smokestack. What I'm going to do here is cut this straight across. This is my pattern, and I'll cut this one off as well. Let's go ahead and glue these down. In the paper pack there is this piece, and all I'm going to do is use my smokestack as my pattern, and I'm going to cut this out and then I'm going to glue it down onto my piece. So let's do that. I've got all my pieces glued down. Now after your glue dries, flip your pieces over. If you can see any overhang, this is a good time to trim up your pieces before assembly. So let's clean up our pieces. Let's go ahead and assemble. Flip your train over. The first one I'm going to do is stick the DBS, the bottom floor piece, down, and the DBS faces down, and I have my notch towards the back. The side wall goes like this. Now this is where we're going to need our glue, and we're going to start gluing. So I'm going to dab glue here and on the side of these notches. So first one's in, and you can clean up anything that needs to be done. Okay, so I'm going to flip this way. I'm going to fit the top piece into the notch, and then I'm just going to push those together. I like to use scratch paper to get any glue seepage out. This piece is going to fit the same way with this going out, and I do need to get my glue on here. Okay, this one just kind of slides right on in there to the side piece right there. And then this bottom piece just pushes into the notch. And I'm going to clean up glue seeping out. And I'll get inside my train here in a moment. This piece is just going to place right on top. So I am going to make sure I got glue here. And I think that's plenty of glue. So I'm just going to take the inside notch here. It goes here. And line them up. Where is that hole? There it is. And then the hole on the side. This side. There. Now, if you want, you can just set this off to the side. If you want a rubber band around it, do so. I am going to clean up my glue now of any seepage. And then I'm going to grab my next piece. Now, for the next 4 of the cars, they're done exactly the same way. I'm going to show you the papers that I'm going to use. This one I already cut into. I'm going to use this one for my caboose. I'm going to use, on this piece, this paper. For this one, it's this paper. And for this one, it's this paper. So let's go ahead and trace and go around the outside and glue it down, just like we did with the engine. And we can go ahead and assemble it. Now, when assembling them, there is a floor. Remember, the DBS should go down. It will go up ways if you'd like it like that, but I have all mine facing down. And these are the side pieces. So let's get this going. I've got all my train pieces done, assembled. I'm going to double check to make sure I've got any glue seepage cleaned up. And then of course this. And we do need to let this sit for about 10-15 minutes to make sure that the glue grabs the wood and it's completely dry. And then we'll move on to decorating. While my train is drying, I went ahead and did some stamping and die cutting for my leaves and my flowers. And I'm going to let that dry for a few. I do have some stickles on there. Now, in this paper pack, there is a sheet that has a lot of different trims. And I'm going to start separating these. My first cut, I'm going to take the ho-ho-ho, trim that off. And the next one I'm going to do is this one, but I'm going to leave the jolly old Saint Nick attached, and I'm just going to trim that down here. Then the next one I'll trim here, 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 and I'll come on over this way and separate these as well. So I've got all these trim pieces here that I cut off. 2 of them that I want right now is these 2. Now also on that page there were some tags and some sayings. We'll want this one. And I created a poinsettia and I kind of decorated the leaves a bit there. And I did dab a little bit of gold stickles in the middle just to bring out some of the color. Now, this side is meant to be my show side mostly, so whichever way your train's going to be positioned, whether it be with the nose of it heading this way, or if you're going to be going with the nose of your train this way, you'll want to use these 2 on your favorite side. So with this, all I'm going to do is bring it up to right here is the nose piece there, and I'm just going to bring the corner of this up to that. And this is where pencil comes in great. I'm just going to make a mark right here with my pencil. And then what I can do is just stick this on my paper cutter and cut these both to that measurement. So let's do that. Alright, stick that off to the side. Let's go ahead and apply glue this and stick that down. And then this piece glues down right on top. This is where some trim comes into play here, and I'm going to cut two pieces that are identical. And I'm going to glue them down to the inside of that window. Okay. That is in there pretty good. Now don't worry about anything that shows right in here. We're going to be putting a little something there if needed. So I'm going to place my poinsettia right here. And I don't want to cover up my bell. So I'm just going to place that right like that. If you're using wagon wheels, now is the time to grab them. Let's apply glue, and you just stick them right on down. Now, it's important that when placing your wheels, the bottom of your wheel should not go past the bottom of the wood. Otherwise, you might get a lopsided train if one side's lower than the other. So I'm just going to make sure that that doesn't do that. I'm going to apply glue and put my flat back pearls right on it over the center. Remember, buttons work too. Grab your Very Merry Christmas, and I'm going to use a little hot glue for this for quick tacking. And I have it layered underneath some of my poinsettia there. And I'm going to get a little bit under here. Grab your bling and cut a piece to trim up the bottom of the smokestack. And we're going to let that dry. I made a bow out of raffia. I'm just going to slide and put that right like that. On some of the strips that we cut out, you'll have this. I cut two. I'm going to dab a little glue at the corner here and assemble them like this. And then I'm going to put a little glue on that. Lift up some of my leaves over here and put that down. And you can still see the bell. Okay, set this aside for drying. Let's move on to our next car. I grabbed one of these strips. I'm just going to lay it across here. Trim it and glue that down. Cut a piece of bling to fit across. And let's glue that down. Here is one of the tags that came off that page. I'm just going to glue a piece of raffia bow down. And now I'm going to apply glue. And I'm going to stick it right like this. And glue that down. Grab a couple of these. You can slide it back behind just a little bit. Do that. Grab a couple wheels and glue those down. Prepare a flower or get one of your flowers, and we're just going to stick that right like that. Let's move on to our next car. Let's grab this trim piece, and on this one it's at an angle, so you'll want to cut it at an angle to fit, and then on this side as well. We're going to glue that down, and then we are going to cut a piece of bling to fit underneath, and glue that down too. Now one thing you might want to do is find out where your trim hits on the car that we just did, if you want to keep your trim pieces straight across of the trim. Let's go ahead and put our wheels down, and then we can glue our little flat back pearls to the middle of it. And I may be going back when we're done doing the basics here of decorating. I may go back and do a couple things and add a few things that I forgot that I wanted to do. Let's grab this, and I'm just going to bend this a little here and there. I got glue on the back. And I'm going to glue that down just like that. Now I glued a couple of these together. I got some pop-up squares there, and I'm just going to place that down right like this. I arranged a couple of the leaves. I'm going to set that right like this so I can still see joy. I created a bow with the raffia. Let's go ahead and stick this to the side and grab our next one. Let's back up to this car. Cut one of your trim pieces to fit and glue that down. Now I grabbed one of my stockings and I added some glitter glue. I added the name John, and I am going to glue and stick that right here, just like that. Let's grab one of the cars. If you're only working on the standard, you are probably just about done. I'm going to trim this to fit, glue that down, and then I'm going to glue a strand of my bling right underneath it. Let's glue our wheels down. Let's go ahead and glue this down right like that. Prepare some flowers, and we'll just stick that right there. You should have some leftover scraps of trim. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here. I think I got way too much there. And I'm just going to bend it. Put a little piece and kind of layer it in there. And I'm going to need to hold that for just a moment. And as soon as this is dry, we'll move on to the caboose. For the caboose, I'm just going to lay this trim piece down, measure it to fit, and glue that down. Also, there is a do not open until December 25th, or part of that anyway. And we're just going to bend this just a little bit, and we'll place that right there. If you're using trim inside the windows, place that. Let's go ahead and take this piece that we have left, and we're just going to glue that straight on down. And then as far as down here, I'm just going to trim that up so that it works with the shape of the wheel. Let's go ahead and glue our wheels down with the flat back pearls. You will have this banner, which we're going to place right like this. So let's add our glue. And it's going to take a moment to... Let's grab one of our stockings and glue that down. And then let's grab a poinsettia or a flower and glue that right on over that little hole. Grab another stocking. Let's just stick that right here. Grab a poinsettia and stick it there. This is complete. Let's go back and add anything that we needed to do. For the back, I am just adding my wheels and my flat back pearls. Now, this part, you should have plenty of trim pieces in your paper pack to run and cover anything that you want hidden there. Okay. Next thing is as far as the back of your train, you can go ahead and decorate that however you would like. I'll be decorating mine just here and there with some of the pieces from this paper collection. There is plenty of paper in the paper pack that I'm using so that I could decorate the other side of my trains the same way I did the front. And one thing I think I'm going to do on the back of each one is to hang a stocking and right like that, and put a little raffia bow. Okay, the jute bags. Now, for the jute bags, you can have them sitting up like this. What you might want to do is stick some tissue paper inside your cars. And I'll grab some. I stuffed the bottom of mine with tissue. Now, one thing you can do if you don't have green tissue like me is I can spray some adhesive and sprinkle some glitter over it, or I can leave it alone. Now, as far as the jute bags, now these would be a neat idea to stick some goodies, whether it be M&Ms or something. Right now I just put the tissue paper in there to give it its bulk. Now, another thing you might be able to find down at the dollar store or maybe at your craft store is these. And all I'm doing here is running the little line through, and then I'm just going to wrap this around here just to give it a little extra. And I'm going to get it right through one of these so that I can still untie if I want it. So I've got mine tied on there, and I want it to where somebody can still open up the bag. So this works. I can still untie that. So it's just attached on one over there. Yep. I'm going to slide that back up. And you can stick it in the back of your train car. Another thing that you can do to fill in is to add some of these little picks for decoration, like I have. So this concludes the train tutorial. I hope that you've got some good ideas for making yours, and I will see you next time.